yesterday it so happened that I was watching, Game of Thrones. Don't judge me because I've just started watching it. So there was this part where, Arya Stark goes and finds somebody called as the Many-Faced God. So when it comes to a concept like that, I would think that a city like Calcutta has been known for nostalgia, has been known for, to a certain extent, stereotypical mindset, right? So I thought that to start off, why don't we have somebody with us who is not stereotypical at all? Somebody, who has been addressed as telegraphs, by telegraph, that the many-faced or the many seasons person, correct?
Oh, I remember one of these earlier articles, it addressed me as man of many seasons.
Man of many seasons. To start with the man of many seasons, I would welcome Tathagata Chowdhury, a theatre practitioner, a teacher, and most importantly, founder of a 2-decade-old theatre production, Theatricians, as you all know. So welcome TC on board.
Thank you so much.
And the purpose of actually to do Calcutta, characters of Calcutta, is to come and talk. It's not about covering a topic. It's more about covering a person. What that person thinks about it. Se ki bhave, kerokom bhave, today's youth is being influenced by whatever it is, in their surroundings. Now, you work with a lot of students, right? And you have been working with a lot of youth individuals over 2 decades right now. So, what do you think? What should be a very good topic to talk about and start about for us?
Firstly, I want to thank you so much for considering me worthy enough for a conversation of this nature. I do not believe in preaching. I never preached ever. But I believe more in practicing my thoughts, and I'll just tell you what I have done, and something that if the young people today, if they can resonate with this, then good enough. I've always had this thought that you live for nothing or die for something.
Well said. Okay.
You know who I'm quoting? John Rambo.
Right.
Okay. So basically, I feel that it's very important, especially in the formative years, to understand the importance of not following a trend, to be your own individual. It is good to be kind of, not to become a very stereotypical person who will follow the regular just because it is easy.
Okay. But don't you think that when you're talking about not following the trend, in an age that is of social media, in an age where people are getting famous every day on social media, don't you think that they are either they are creating a trend or they are following a trend to come into the limelight?
I'm glad you're talking about social media. I'll just mention a play written decades back by a playwright I'm sure you have heard of. And so much about what he has written, you can actually map it with today's Instagram craze.
Okay.
It's a play called Evam Indraji by Bhattacharya.
Okay.
So in one of the chapters over there, in one of the scenes over there, Bhattacharya talks about Amol Bimal Komol, and he says that how everybody, like parts of a machine in a factory, they are all doing similar stuff without even thinking why they are doing that.
Okay.
And in today's time, when we're talking about being famous, I'll call that seeking validation. So if you are using the social media or the networking platforms to communicate your work, to reach out about your work, very good. But if you're doing that for some sort of validation, then I think it merits introspection. Am I doing something because I strongly believe in it? Or am I doing this because everybody else is doing it? Like for instance, day after tomorrow, I'll be doing something for the first time, a stand-up show.
Yeah, we know about it. Okay, so guy, for people who don't know, so he's starting off with his stand-up on the 11th of January at Wisdom Tree. So if you guys are free, you can always drop. It starts from 7 o'clock in the evening. Yeah.
So I was telling myself that am I doing this because I strongly believe in this? Am I convinced about it? Or am I doing it because I've been hearing about XYZ also doing a stand-up show? So let me also see how does it work for me. So my answer to that is very simple, that it is yet another performing art. If I fancy myself a performing artist, let me test the waters. And more than the format of a stand-up, I'm very convinced about what I want to talk about.
Through the stand-up.
Through the stand-up.
Right.
You know, so the stand-up, if I was a painter, then painting would become my medium. If I was a poet, then poetry would become my medium.
So we do have the choice of selecting the medium through which we want to communicate.
Absolutely. So stage has always been my medium, something that I'm always comfortable with. And now I'm just trying out this particular medium called the stand-up. You know, so yeah, I mean, like, coming back to what I was saying, that I really feel and I strongly believe that young people should definitely create their own identity and be the individual that they believe in becoming, not because somebody else has clicked or done something, so therefore I need to emulate that person blindly.
Makes sense, but then when we are talking about like blending with trends, basically, whether to blend with trends or to create something of your own, or to have some signature of your own. But don't you think that everything today, when it comes to youth, is some way or the other being influenced by some culture?
Absolutely. And the influencers are doing a good job. So that is what I was trying to say, that are you going to be a trend setter or are you going to create a trend?
Correct.
You know, so I've always believed that there are two ways of looking at it with anything which is related to art and entertainment.
Okay.
And if you want to make business out of it, you either cater to the market or you create a market.
Correct. Agreed. Of what we do, at least in terms of Calcutta Youth Meet, I agree to whatever you are telling me. But then when you are telling me, I'm sorry to cut you, but when you are telling me about that, creating a trend. So for example, you create a trend today. You start using a filter or a photograph on Instagram, and that becomes viral, and people start taking similar kind of photographs. Under such a situation, when you've already created a trend, somebody is already following you. So through this, you are also telling that to your followers, that not to follow you but to create their own trend.
So for me, it is not only confined to a filter on Instagram, but to just understand that Instagram is not the only medium for me to communicate, reach out and express myself.
Of course not, but I'm just telling you in general, I'm giving and citing an example of a filter on Instagram.
So to be very honest, and here I'll be kind of exposing my ignorance, I do not know what filter in Instagram is, because my Instagram account, which I use only to kind of mention about my plays, events, is actually monitored by one of my ex-students.
Okay.
And I you know me, right? Like I don't even venture into all these platforms. So let me just try to kind of maybe I was not being able to express myself. What I was thinking is that a lot of things that youngsters today they are doing, I feel is actually hampering creative growth. It is creating more of a possible avenue of depression, because there is constant comparison as to what X, Y are doing, and that I am not a part of, so I am being left out.
Agreed. Yeah, I think we are speaking to the right audience, because this is something that a lot of people that I also work with, they come and tell me, and when we have open discussions, this is something which is very common. But I mean, again, how do you think? I mean, coming to the context of Calcutta, how do you think that something like this is happening, or what is your experience when you have actually seen that somebody has created a trend and that has continued?
So I see that whether they believe in being part of a production or not, or whether they're even aware of the main ethos of a particular production, when a group becomes popular, or when a production becomes what one will call a hit, a lot of young people, they sign up without even realizing what are they signing up for.
Correct. So they are misguided to a certain extent, or misinformed.
Misguided, I will not use the word mis, but it is more about it's coming from miscontent. It is coming from a place or a space of wanting to belong without even realizing that what is it that I want to belong to or for. I'm saying that maybe people can take more of a stand rather than just follow a herd. Especially in Calcutta, I have noticed that one is not even aware. Now let's just talk about theatre and play. Till few years back, say about 4-5 years back, I saw a trend of lot of youngsters becoming part of a particular group, and I'm sure the group was coming up with exceptional work. But I'm not sure whether the youngsters were involved. Other than few of them who are calling the shots, the rest of them were even aware of the storyline, the script, the concept, what kind of light design was going in it, what was their own creative journey and creative growth. Rather, what they did was they just brought in the crowd and audience to watch what few people were doing. So, since you use the word influencer and influencers, I think influencers have a responsibility. Fortunately, I see in script production, and if I may even use, I talk about another group like Sheep of Silence, I see that they are cultivating, they are generating a certain kind of attitude where youngsters are also realizing that there is a platform where I'm getting a chance to express myself. This is a place for me to express and not follow blindly.
Yeah, because that's what at least I can talk about script, because we came up with this creative which says that here your boss is not always right.
Super. Yeah. That takes a lot of guts for a boss to say that.
So
And I salute that.
So we had that vision in mind basically. Now what I wanted to understand is, since we came up with script and SOS, when we hire people or when we open in recruitments for people to come work with us, they do come work with us without knowing the vision of the organization. Now, given under a situation that I tell them about the vision, I explain them about the vision, but then after a while we have seen that they just fall out of track. They don't know what is going on. They lose interest. So do you think that it is because, again, that person is blindly following the trend, or do you think that it is genuinely because we fail to make them understand or build their interest up? What do you think pertaining to today's youth culture? Forget about the time when we were in school, that was ages back, but talking about today, what do you think?
I'll obviously tell you a very personal belief over here. Without at all being in any position to judge anybody else, what I think is that, again, this entire thing comes from what level have I achieved for myself? Am I in the limelight? If not, then what's the point? So more than a growth, how do we today understand growth? And inner growth always takes time. What is my contribution? What am I adding to this? So, I hope I'm not deviating too much over here when I say this. You were asking me how did I start off while we were walking down, and I told you, these are certain things that I have been doing when I was of your age or maybe even younger. So, if you will allow me, I will mention an anecdote here. I started working with a group called Stagecraft.
Okay.
When I was in 11th standard, I was doing an annual production. My makeup I had taken at 5:30. 7 p.m. was the show. Yanmanch, Pretoria Street. Suddenly we realized furniture pieces are missing. I walked from Pretoria Street to Royd Street, where Mr. Pomra resided. I went to his flat on the 3rd floor, picked up furniture from Royd Street, went to Pretoria Street with my makeup, and then at 7 p.m. I was still ready to perform.
Hats off.
Right now, I'm not at all saying this to kind of earn any kind of
but
appreciation.
This actually deserves an appreciation.
But what I'm saying is that I was not the only one to do it. That was the culture. Correct. Sorry. So, what I realized at that time is that we did not have Instagram followers, we did not have Facebook likes. Why did we do it? Because we sensed that is the way we grow.
You learn.
We learn. And that learning is very important. And I don't see young people are investing time to learn.
And why do you think that young people are not investing in it?
See, it is a fast food culture. Everything is 2 minutes, not only Maggie. where is the patience, where is the time? When we are living in the app world of relationships, where you are either a right swipe or left swipe away from an equation to be formed, where exactly is the time? Because there are two sides to the coin. One also needs to understand from their perspective and their point of view. Where is the time one will feel that one needs to invest or one has to invest? So there is an instant gratification. So if reward equals to gratification, then it will always lead to mediocrity or mediocrity. Which is why what you're saying is that after few productions or few sessions, you will see that young people, they fizz off.
Correct, yeah.
Because they realize that I'm not getting my gratification out of this.
So,
So gratification, I was mapping gratification with reward. So if that gratification is not coming, they feel that it is not.
No, but for people who do not work, so I have a lot of people who just join the group, doesn't even attend meeting, will not talk, and it's not just about me. We had, I will not take names, but we had like a very recent event in Calcutta. It was pretty big, right? So
congratulations on that. I got to hear about it, and I got rave reviews about it.
Which one? The one that we organized, Calcutta Youth. No, I'm not talking about Calcutta Youth. Okay. So, like a few days back, there was like a particular event in Calcutta, and there was a lot of people who were working for it. On paper, there were almost 250 people working. Super. But when you visit the event, you will hardly find 50 people running around. Right? So, again, you are talking about gratification. Gratification will only come if somebody, or reward, it will only come when you have worked for something, right? You cannot join a group, sit down idle and expect a reward to be given to you. What will be you rewarded for at the end? So again, I think that is somewhere. So what I wanted to know from your experience is that how to build up that thing so that people don't sit idle in your team.
I can only tell you what we have done.
Yeah.
We did not believe in any theory. We did not believe in lecturing. We did not believe in screaming out from the rooftop. We just believed in work. 20 years, more than 200 productions, around 2,000 shows across the country, abroad, without any kind of major support financially, much backing, etc. You're aware of the journey.
Yeah.
So once you do the work, then you find people who are going to be like-minded, because your vibe will attract your tribe. So when vibe and tribe, they become hand in glove, then you don't really need to advertise, you don't need to reach out, people will just come. Like how did we connect?
Right.
So I personally believe that if you are convinced about your work, just do your work with all your heart and soul, and things will happen. If you'll allow me to say this, I'm going to mess up with the words, but I think you will get an idea about where I'm coming from. In one of the Filmfare Awards, Mr. Yash Chopra had said this. कि मैं तो चल रहे थे अपनी मंजिल के और लोग मिलता गया कारवां बनते गए. So
Yeah.
people will come, work will happen. Whoever is of your tribe will vibe with you, will stay, and there will always be that tea strainer where you distill the ones who will not vibe with you. And not that they are wrong, there is no right or wrong.
It's just about a difference in opinion.
Absolutely, and on what you want in life, and that's how life will go on.
That's good, and so we end this episode with this, and thank you TC once again for talking with us.
Thank you so much. As I said, I'm really fortunate that you considered me worthy to be part of this.
Not, you are worthy.
Thank you so much.
And there is a lot to learn from somebody like you.
It had a misconception. Thank you for saying that. It's very kind of you. I don't think I have anything to teach. I've never taught anyone anything. I've only shared, and all that I have is experience.
Of course, and it's good to know and to learn from that experience. So if learning is coming, then teaching also comes automatically, right? So thank you very much for talking with us, and I hope that Characters of Calcutta takes a good turn and we have good outcomes in the near future. Thank you everyone.